Yo, I think I'm good. I think I'm good. All right, I see the mic moving a little bit. What up? What up? Man, it's been a minute. Man, it's been a minute. And thank you. Thank you in advance for tuning in wherever you decide to tune in. Man, it is it's May 17th. It's still tourist season. So we got the green on for tourist season. We're not gonna miss that for the world. You know what I do, you know what I'm here, you know what I'm about. Um, a lot of talk. And I was talking to my guy Jones. I've been talking to a lot of people since this whole Iceman album has released. And even though this isn't what I was going to start my new series with, or how I was going to start the new series, I think it is important to give you a little bit of how I want to maneuver as we get into this content space and we talk music again. My guy Wang Dang King Beef, y'all. Yeah. Hey man, thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate you, man. Thanks. Um, we got a lot. Well, we don't have a lot to talk about, but I did want to let everybody know that this is not how I was going to start this series, but definitely a good place to start this series because this is the kind of content that I want to start creating. Even though I hate using the word content, I think it's important to say that that's what this is. This will be no rant. This will be no rave. This will be no review. This is a story because I believe that every sound has a story, and the sound of a story or stories I want to share this weekend is with Drake. Drake and the Iceman album. Listen, I didn't listen to all of Maid of Honor, and I didn't listen to Habitat or Haberdashery or whatever that other album is called. I ain't listened to it yet, so I'm not going to talk to you about either one of those. We stuck on Iceman. Why? Because Iceman was the album that we knew we were getting on May 15th. May 15th was my birthday. Lash Legend and Nia Jax wish me happy birthday. I don't know if you know that or not. Think about what you can tell me until the next birthday I have. Just think about what you can tell me. It should be along the lines of nothing, you know? But the Iceman album is out, and I've listened to it probably like 4.5 times total, maybe like with through the whole weekend. Um, and I'm going to tell a series of stories as how I not only listen to the album, but also what I've been hearing in between listening to the album and some of the conversations that I've been having because of this album. And I wish my guy Jones was here because I know he wanted to be on just to hear where I'm going with this. And I think that before I start getting into this album, I do want to say a few things. One, I'm not a Drake hater, but I'm also not necessarily a Drake fan, right? I'm not a hater or a fan. Um, that's important to say here. I'm not a Kendrick Lamar fan like that. I'm not. Or a J. Cole fan like that. Listen, that and I said the story, and I'm gonna circle it back around. But none of your big three for the blog era and beyond, none of them are in my top 5 or 10. Like none of them. But I've been on Earth long enough, and I've rapped. I've listened to rap long enough to where they just don't make it. Somebody has to be number 11. Somebody has to be 17. Somebody has to be 35 if we're going to count that far, right? Somebody's got to be there. So I want to preface that first um, before we get into all of this. And I've prepared a few notes, but not many, because a lot of what I want to say is just a conversational tone. So let's take you back in time. It's May 15th. I'm on mountain time. I'm in Denver, Colorado, stoned immaculate. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, that altitude thing was real. And I think, I had this. Well, I don't want to tell you what I had because I don't want this video to get flagged. But let's just say I could slap an eagle on the scalp and it'd been all right. You know what I'm saying? And as I was walking around the city, very quiet downtown Denver has. Um, quick side note, I don't know how Brandon Marshall got in trouble out there. Like he can't be trusted. And I'm sorry, I give people grace to change their life or whatever, but I there was not 1 ounce of rowdiness. Now maybe that could be just it's a different time. It's not football season. I don't know, but as quiet and as clean and as peaceful as that downtown look, I was like, how do you even get in trouble? How do people even feel they need a gun out here? So, but that ain't really the purpose of today's stream, right? So again, I'm getting into my groove or what have you. Walk back to the hotel. Walk back to the hotel. I'm in the lobby, kind of chilling, thinking about what I want to eat or whatever. In the midst of that, I see um, it might have been an Instagram post. It might have been an Instagram post from DJ Paul, but it did make me think, oh shoot, it's May 15th. Matter of fact, it was just around like 11 o'clock. It was around 11 o'clock Mountain Time. Happened to get on title because the music sounds better on title. And lo and behold, Iceman album with the new Michael Jackson glove, I guess. Because I mean, but Drake could have really probably bought the real one, but I don't know. The point is, he got the Iceman glove on, and I was like, oh, you know what? I'm gonna listen to this right now. And I'm usually normally not the midnight release guy. I don't do that because I'm not in a rush to give you a take. I'm not in a rush to have a hot take. I don't get the satisfaction of being first to tell you to like or dislike any song, artist, project, what have you. However, did want to hear this. And since the city kind of was like on some sleepy time stuff, I was feeling nice. I was like, you know what, let me just go back up to the room, open the window, look at the mountains, listen to the new Iceman album. Felt like a super cool vibe to me. I just needed like 2 candles and maybe some chicken, and it would have been even better. But I did have water though. Water and mountains, always a good play when music is in the atmosphere. You dig? So, listen. And I had to put this on Instagram. Instagram stories, of course. I was like, yo, this Iceman, this Iceman came on. Hey, this Iceman came on. And boy, did it ever. Hey, I want to start off by saying every time Drake said he wanted to make somebody do something when he was trying to make them, they did it. And it was hard. Super hard. So that goes without saying. So automatically, so now I'm already in the mode where I'm like, okay, we about to get like raps. Like I don't think he's been this intentional about rapping since nothing was the same for me personally. But Views had some moments as well. So now my attention is like off the mountains. I was like, whoa, wait, what? I was like, what is he talking? Yo, he talking crazy right now. And I'm thinking like, okay, that's one heck of an intro to this Iceman. And I'm like, okay, but I'm not mad at this. I'm not mad at this. And then um I think that make him cry. I don't know. One of them make them cry and make them know where he's Iceman, baby, why you? Yeah, you know. I like whoever dude is that be singing at the end of some of Drake's songs. He be smoking that. Or like sometimes like in the middle or the beginning. Whoever dude is, he cold. Like I always want to hear him freeze him up, freeze him up. Yeah. Um. So now business is picked up in my mind. So we get to dust. I'm like, okay. I was like, okay, wow, okay, we're really not letting up because normally you get whatever the single is going to be by probably like track 3 to 5. But when we got to Whisper My Name, I was like, oh, okay, something different is happening in this album. Something way different is happening in this album. Because one, this came on like a 3-6 Mafia song. I I've been trying to check the credits. I need to know if DJ Paul produced Whisper My Name. I have to know this because that feels so like 2000s 3-6 Mafia. Just even the way the beat come on, that doom 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 doom. Yeah, like it's great. It's great how he pieces that all together. Um, but now, man, we're all the way down to shut the f up, Janice, or Janice shut the f up, and ran to Atlanta, and I'm like, okay, Future's on the album. Interesting. What's the story behind that? Is it really just a Young Thug phone call? I'm out of jail. Y'all need to piece this up. Is this adding more credence to the beat switch in verse 2 of Family Matters, where Drake was like, me and Pluto, I don't understand. We never even really been through it. And he is blaming Metro and everybody else for looping Future into this. Is like, yo, we never had a problem. Why are you even with them on this type of time? That's an interesting conversation I think that needs to be had. Not saying it has to be had in public, but for Future to be on this album and the Future to be on this song, when Future literally laid the platform for all of this to spiral out of control 2 years ago, it's kind of crazy. But I have a bigger theory behind that. And I'm going to share it here. So, look, long story shorter, on the album itself, I get through the entire album, all 18 tracks. And I think this is fire. I think this album is super dope. Now, it's definitely some songs I could keep off of here. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, as I look at the tracks I actually save versus the ones that I am like on the album, what we at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So yeah, look, off the first few listens, I'm like 12 out of 18 on songs I absolutely thought were heat the first time I heard them, or if not the second or third. 12 out of 18 is great, especially in this era where people ain't even trying to give you a whole album that's 20 minutes long, 20 to 30 minutes long, let alone 18 tracks. So, and 18 tracks that are all over like with 2 minute and a half or 2.5 minute or 3 minute songs or longer. So that's a feat in itself. So, dude, I wake up. So, first of all, I'm listening to this album and I'm looking at the mountains. I get distracted from the mountains. And then by the time we get down to oh wait, what's my joint? Hold up. I gotta tell you the name because this is oh yeah, Make Them Pay. Dog, by the time we get to Make Them Pay, my high is completely blown. Because now I'm paying attention. I'm like, yo, like, wait a minute. We get to Make Them Pay. That's the first song I was like, oh my God, this album is incredible. once we got to there, because you can't lose with the sample choice. Even in the Wu-Tang Americans saga, like that made that Denise Williams free. It just makes everything sound better. That's one of the more perfect that's one of the more perfect beats, tracks, samples. Like you can do no wrong with it if you can really rap or if you really got something that you just want to say. It's always worked. I want to say Mike Geronimo also used that. Um, I forget, but we're not here to talk about other rappers. I'm at the moment anyway. But man, by the time we got to Make Them Pay, I'm like, okay, well, hold on. Now I'm sober because this right here is crazy. I'm like, yo, this man is really rapping out of his mind. It's by the time we get to this track, and it's only track 7, I'm sitting here like, okay, this album should be received really well because this is the album that I think a lot of people are asking for or have been asking for about 10 years now. You know, there's not obviously there's some singing on it, but it's like singing hooks, singing bridges, and singing like intros. But for the most part, he is rapping out of his mind, and it's only track 7. So I'm thinking, oh, I think everybody got appeased. This is the album that people are saying they wanted to hear from Drake. Rapper Drake. I want rapper Drake. And like they would give him 5 mics just because he rapped the whole time. And I get that what was that? Not Dark Lane Demos. That other one where he added like 4 or 5 rap tracks. Again, oh yeah, for Certified Lover Boy, I think it was. That wouldn't have moved either. Because it was like, yeah, that's good rapping or whatever. But that's not Drake really being Drake. That's not to make you run to the stream or make you run to the Apple store, because I don't think anybody ran to the album to the record stores or stores in general to buy actual Drake CDs. He might have caught the tail end of that, because I remember there were 2 or 3 actual Drake CDs that existed, but that's neither here nor there. What I will say though is that the album, I felt like, wow, okay, Make Them Pay, this is gonna go crazy. And then there was no level off in rapping. That there was not that one song where it was just singing about a girl. There was not this one obviously pop attempt. There was none of that. And then I was pleasantly surprised and then shocked, because wow, this is a really dope Drake album with virtually, for him, no singing on it. There's no Find Your Love. There's no Hold On, We're Going Home. There's no Marvin's Room. There's no Pipe Down. There's no Feel No Ways. He doesn't have one of those on here. And usually every Drake album has one of those that is going to ring off. But even with the absence of that, this is still a dope album. Now, here's the deal though. I listen to this album early in the morning, go to sleep, wake up, mad birthday text. Again, I appreciate the love from everybody. Talk to a couple homegirls. And boy, oh boy, here's a story for you. 100% of the women I talked to about the Drake album on Friday, May 15th, called Drake a BAN. Like, just off the rip. They was like, oh, man, you listen to that? It's trash. Wait, hold up. It just came out. How do you know? I just listened to it for the first time and went to sleep. I listened to it like a time and a half and then went to sleep. You heard it? She's like, no, I ain't heard it, but man, he a BAN. So I was like, oh, wow. I was like, dang, this is how women talking about Drake now? I was like, y'all don't mess with Drake no more? And she was like, nah, man, that whole, like, dude, he only be writing this rap. So I was like, whoa, hold on. Okay, hold on. And I'm not saying that women are not allowed to say things like this, but I never even realized how much women cared about rappers writing raps. But is it because everything surrounding Drake made it a topic? Like, I don't know women to even know a lot of rap lyrics, especially from men. So I didn't think it really mattered to them, to the women delegation, the women demographic, if rappers wrote their raps or not. So I was surprised. So then another phone call. Second homegirl. She's a little older than the first one. And I was like, yo, I just got off the phone with homegirl. She was like, yo, Drake a BAN. She's not listening to it. She was like, yeah, I feel that. I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. So we 0 for 2. We 0 for 2 right now. And she was just like, yo, that whole lawsuit thing, that whole suing over a battle rap thing is just crazy. Like, yeah, no, he a BAN. I was like, yo, okay. Now business is picking up because didn't know you ladies were so passionate about everything after the beef and the back and forth and the records and what have you. And then I started to wise up a little bit because Drake is now fighting a new battle. excuse me, Drake is fighting the battle of losing his core audience for everything but the music. And I say that because we are now in a time where, he mentions on the album, like Drake is about to turn 40, right? And I think the young ladies that I'm talking about, one was in their late 30s or maybe just turned 40, and then one was in her 40s. And they've totally just disregarded Drake. Like, they don't mess with him no more. But it's not because the music is bad. It's because they literally don't like dude anymore. And that's interesting. I've never I don't think I've experienced that to this clip. But there is another side to this. And you got to go to the other side to really recognize this. For instance, I know a young lady. She's one of my full-timers. I think she's 21 or 22 years old. She said this Iceman was going to be heat before it even came out. She was like, I know he's not going to let me down. I know Drake is not going to let me down. This is about to be some fire on this album. And I was like, yo, I hope so. It dropped on my birthday. And if he don't, man, I'm gonna be pretty upset if some garbage drops on my birthday. I'm like, I'm not here for that. And so I can't wait to hear her review of this when I get back to the gig. This is going to be great. Fast forward to today, because now the album's been out for 3 days, Sunday. My daughter gets in the car and she hear 2 beats or a note. It was like, yo, is that the new Drake? I was like, yeah, it's the new Drake. So keep in mind, my daughter normally hates everything I play. She don't like nothing. She don't like Mobb Deep. She don't like Nas. She don't like Sean Price. She was quiet during 112. But like she be always like just trying to like say something slick about all my music choices. But when she got in the car and she heard Drake today or we're on the way to dinner, boy, did her attitude change. And she actually gave me some interesting critique that kind of let me know where Drake is maybe underserving, maybe super serving, or just where the majority vote is now. It could be that. Because my daughter, who's 15, thinks the Iceman album is fire, but she thought Maid of Honor was trash. And I was like, that's all the party records, ain't it? I was like, I only listened to it like half a time. I still got to listen to it like for real. She was like, no, man, that was whack. She was like, I didn't like anything on that. She was like, but that other one, the Habibi, the Habibati, or whatever it is. I was like, oh, the Haberdashery, whatever. She was like, yo, him and Party are unbeatable. I knew the song with him and Party was a hit the second I heard it. I was like, whoa, wait a minute. That can't be right. They making songs for you? And granted, when you're 15, you just listen to music. And when you're 15 to 21, 22, which is what both of these young ladies are, my daughter and my employee, or my full-timer. I shouldn't say like, oh, she worked for me. Like, but shout out to my homie. I don't know if she wanted to be shouted out. So, we're just going to leave it as when we work together. As I'm listening to 2 young people, one in their teens, one in their early 20s, and they are sold. They are Drake. Yes. They thumbs up Drake. Women late 30s to early 40s, thumbs down Drake. So literally we got women coming of age that still like Drake's music, and we got women who are established in life that ain't messing with it at all. And I think that's kind of where we are in general, but that's why the conversation is what it is about Drake, right? So, because his biggest fans, his biggest supporters, the people most avidly listening to Drake should not be half his age as far as the majority of the percent go. It just shouldn't be that way. However, is that because of the kind of music he's making? Um, and I know people are trying to use the I've aged out of Drake, I've phased out of Drake, but I don't think that's real. I don't think that's real at all because everybody likes to have a good time. Everybody likes to make money. Everybody loves women, and his music is primarily about that. You know, whether you're taking them on vacations or not, whether you are courting them and trying to wife them up or not. You know, most of the music Drake makes is just about it's nightlife focused. But what is nightlife now? Nightclubs don't even have dance floors, so there's there's not much to not identify with. At the same time, there is a lot to identify with, depending on how old you are. Now, here's the thing: what I'm finding as these two demos of women, young women versus more mature women exist, is that one set don't seem to really be phased by Not Like Us and all that at all. And then the other ones don't really seem phased by Not Like Us, but definitely are phased by the way he handled Not Like Us. This goes back to what I was saying when I was just willing to concede that Kendrick beat Drake. The battle is done. Not Like Us. It rang off, and the Heart Part 6 was not the equipped comeback that was needed. Like, you know what I mean? Like he just ran out of gas. He just ran out of gas, and that's just it, right? But I said somebody has to replace Drake if y'all really want to get him out of here. You have to replace him. There is no um oh, we're just gonna beat him and then Kendrick takes over or J. Cole takes over. It's like, no. See, this is why I never felt the need to one pick a side per se. I didn't need to pick a side for one, and then two though, I never needed to eliminate one or the other. Kendrick and Drake is literally Jay and Nas all over again, and I can use all the same arguments for Nas or for Jay as I did. Even though I picked a different winner this time, I thought Drake was going to clean Kendrick up. I'll be honest. I was like, he ain't gonna drop fast enough. He won't drop a big enough record. The rapping will be where it needs to be, but I don't see a world where Drake is going to lose to Kendrick in a rap battle. I said that. I was clear on that. And then I heard Euphoria and was like, oh wait, maybe he's prepared. Maybe he's prepared for this. So dig it. The reason why the Jay and Nas battle can here go Jones. I tried to tell you. I need a recap on what you tried to tell me as I circle back here. Um, with the Jay and Nas battle, beef, whatever have you, I never wanted to pick a side. At that point, I probably liked both equally, if not Nas a little more because of some of the people around me that were just champion like Jay-Z a little too much for me. I do kind of have a problem. If you champion somebody too much around me, like the only thing that exists, then I'd be like, man, shut up. Now I gotta give you something. You know what I'm saying? And I was saying that because Nas and Jay-Z never made the same music to me. And it's not, and I mean, I know everybody like, oh, were they from the East Coast? And they both had a primo beat. And, they both have talked about drugs and lifestyle. Like, nah, but it don't sound the same. It's not the same music to me. Nas and Jay-Z sounded totally different to me. and it's not never a better or worse, just different. So when they engaged in battle, for me, I figure, hey, well, I got Nas, but I heard Takeover and was like, ooh, okay. And then, hey, listen, I heard the Paid in Full freestyle too, though. And listen, I like that, and I like when Nas was on I-49 when he was like, "Still Matic, still eye for an eye. You want to be God? You just the next rapper to die effing with Nas." I was like, "Hey, that's hard. He ain't gotta. Do he really got to keep responding to one verse? You know what I mean?" But but he was buying his time. He was just getting his bars off because when Ether drops, all of a sudden now you see the separation. It's like, you know what? Jay-Z was trying to Jay-Z made an anthem on a takeover. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a hit record by design with that ROC. We running this rap-ish. Chris and Neef, we running this rap-ish. Like you like that's a Kanye, that's a hit record in the shell, but it's a diss track. And that's insurmountable. But see, Nas didn't come to do all of that. Nas was like, let me just tell you why I just don't like you. And then you have Ether. And now all of a sudden we got to separate the facts from the fiction in raps, even though we never did it for Cool Mold and LL Cool J. We never did it for Ice Cube versus NWA. We never did it for Pac versus Biggie. Matter of fact, we just believed everything that Pac said, and we just kept it moving. Like we didn't care like about anything. But now though, so now since Jay's on the ropes now we got to figure out what really happened in 86 when none of us were around for anything that they were trying to do. And now we have to know, oh, you really didn't sell cocaine. All right, cool, you got it. But this battle is literally the new version of that for this new era of people. So yes, let me get back to Jones real quick. My man said he knew that K-Dot would clean Drake right up. I knew from Control and how Drake responded. See, in hindsight, I get your point. I do. But I always will harken back to this. I will always harken back to this. Drake's response to Control was just not the interview. It was the song or nothing was the same, called The Language. And he responded to that and the BET Cyberverse at the same time. And that it's a formidable response. And just in case you think it's 2-1 there, he also responded on Games 100. And that verse is great as well. So I don't necessarily like, let me say it right. If this is about raps, and this is about raps directed at each other, whether it's subliminal or not, because they know they talking to each other. If you think Kendrick washed Drake with Control in the BET Cypherverse, I implore you to listen to The Language and 100 right now. Stop this stream, listen to both of those, and you tell me that he just mashed on Drake and he couldn't do nothing about it. Because that's inaccurate to me. So, the Drake and Kendrick thing literally mirrors the Jay and Nas thing. But I won't lie, I picked the other horse this time. Because Kendrick would be the Nas in this situation. And Drake would be the Jay-Z in this situation. But again, much like Jay and Nas don't make the same music to me, Drake and Kendrick really don't make the same music to me. Like, nothing about their music to me says that they're competing on any level. They're not competing for the same audience. They're not competing for the same dudes. They're not competing for the same young people. Like, they're just literally not, like, there is no real competition to me for both of them. So, like, I'm feeling that I could like them both equally and it would be okay. Like, nobody would ever question me if I said I like MC Hammer and Rakim. But then the thing that you would never probably do to me is say, well, who would win in a battle? I don't know. Is it a dance battle? Hammer's gonna win. Is it a freestyle battle? I don't know. Hey, because he might be. I mean, he might be MCing and party rocking rhyming, but MC Hammer freestyle might be cold. But if you wanted a hot 16, yeah, I'm probably gonna lean on Rakim for that. I probably will. You know, um, the mistake Nelly made with KRS-One was trying to. Well, no, he actually didn't make a mistake. I'm sorry. The mistake KRS-One thought that he was going to do, well, the decision he made, which the mistake that he made, was thinking like, oh, I'm just going to rap really well and diss Nelly, and that's going to solve this. No, it's not. No, it's not. Because Hot Here is dropping. And it don't matter if you don't like the song. People that have never heard of you and are not checking for you are going to buy that record. So, you're not going to tarnish this man's or legacy, or you're not going to stop his momentum to getting legacy at that time. So again, I picked the wrong course. Even though I still stand by Family Matters being the best overall song in the entire battle. Drake lost. And it's okay. It's okay for him to lose. But just like I said when he lost, I was talking to some friends of mine, and I was like, so who making the slaps now, though? Because it's not going to be Kendrick. Like, I was like, I know you're like, this is cool and all. And he won the battle. Give him the title. Let him raise it up in the middle of the ring. He won. But where are the slaps? What the hoes gonna throw ass to? Where are those records? Because the slaps got to slap. Summer's here. We gonna play Not Like Us the whole summer into the fall, and then the next summer. That's what we gonna do. So you can't get rid of Drake. He can lose a battle. You can't get rid of him though, because just like I just came to the revelation today, Drake is responsible for the last 16 years of being the front runner for all the songs for women and the nightlife. See, my era, if you're 45, if you're 38 to 45, you were there for this era. Will Smith, Ja Rule, Nelly, Ludacris, T.I., 50 Cent. And then you got your one-offs like your D4Ls and them franchise boys and different sounds taking over. But here's the deal. Drake comes along and puts all their runs together, including Jay-Z's. So everybody who had that one song that rang off for the summer in the clubs or for the ladies, he got every single one of them for the next 16 years. And then what would happen when somebody new came along or somebody reemerged? So it didn't matter if it was Wayne or Nicki, or if it didn't matter if it was 2 Chainz or Rick Ross or French Montana. It didn't matter who it was. Drake's on the song. So now is the song a hit because it's a hit, or is the song a hit because it's Drake on it? You have to make that distinction now. And that became very difficult for people. And that's what I think people are now witnessing right now. Because, I mean, hey, Future dropped 2 albums that year, and we were still only talking about Not Like Us, the song that wasn't on his album. Other people have tried. J. Cole has dropped. He ain't got the slaps you've been waiting for. See, this is the ramifications of wanting to get rid of somebody whose contribution is undeniable in the music space. It's not about what you care about as far as hip hop goes. It doesn't matter anymore. That man has contributed to music in a way that did not get replaced from losing the battle. And that's why you can take the L, but it won't stop your motion. It won't stop momentum. See, Drake is the only rapper that I think, and please, anybody that hears this at any time, if it was tonight or whenever, it could be 3 years from now. Correct me if I'm wrong. Outside of Ja Rule, Well, no, I won't even say that. No, because the tide is turning on Gyro a little bit. Drake lost this battle, and people were trying to get him to leave like forever. Like, go, oh, you can't respond. Oh, I don't want to hear you talking about Kendrick. Don't say nothing about Cole. Don't say nothing about. Why are we putting those kind of stipulations on him when people were dying for everybody else to respond? You know, people talk about this album a lot like they were talking on Blueprint 2. Blueprint 2, the album and the song. You know, listen, I didn't like '03 Bonnie and Clyde either. But it's heat on that Gift and the Curse album. It is. The Curse is definitely better than the Gift. There's a lot of songs I could do without. But man, Poppin' Tags is still in that album. My Way is still in that album. Excuse me, miss, still in that album. As well as Guns N' Roses, Somehow, Some Way, Show You How, Meet the Parents. Hey, dude, and listen, Blueprint to the song. Blueprint to the song. The best song, well, Takeover is a great song. So the second best song on and then entire exchange was Blueprint 2. And the second verse. Jay-Z clearly had lost already. But hey, he could still be mad. He could still be bitter. He could still want smoke. And he could still rap about it. I was here for it. I was like, ooh, good thing Nas don't have to respond because this is fire. This is fire. He's going crazy. Why don't people want Drake to respond? That's my hang up here. I don't get that. Why can't he respond? It's because people just don't like him. Let me get to these comments real quick. I see things going off. Let me see. All right. Why is hip hop now so reliant on one person for the slaps? Is hip hop in that bad of shape? You know, look, Jones, I don't think, well, you know what? Here's the thing. Hip hop is so reliant on one person making slaps because one person began to make slaps. And again, we're this is, you got to think, Drake came along in the post, I'm not a rapper, I'm a this. I'm the street occupation that happens to know how to rap. Remember, I'm a drug dealer that happens to know how to rap. I'm a hustler that happens to know how to rap. You know, whatever your black market occupation was, you're supposed to be doing that, but you just happen to be making money doing rap music now, right? So now Drake comes along and was like, hey, look, I'm an artist. And I make songs for women first. And because, like, look, the first time I ever heard of Drake, it was from a girl that came to visit me from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And she was like, yo, I heard this new dude named Drake. I think you might like this. And I was like, really? Let me hear, dude. Let me see what he's talking about. And I was like, oh, that's cool. That's a cool little joint. I was like, okay, I instantly see why this young lady was playing this song. I was like, okay, he definitely is like something for them. And in the midst of all that, he gets the best cosign at the best time. Because many of you, and Jones, I'm sure you were in on this, you were one of the many people calling Wayne the best rapper alive or the greatest rapper in the world. So now Drake's attached to him. And part of me believes that a lot of the Drake features that happened were because Wayne wouldn't do them. I'm sorry. I think people were trying to get Wayne features. And they end up settling for Drake features, but then those Drake features became hit records. So we keep going to the well. That's why I don't like how Rick Ross is handling all of this. I don't want to hear from 200 millionaires about street beef or anything like that, when literally the biggest songs that would be in his catalog would be featuring T-Pain or DJ Khaled, if not for Drake. So I don't want to hear his beefing side of it. Again, Drake, and then again Drake, when Drake became hot and it became undeniable and he was doing something different, see, then he just became anti. But you got to be careful about how you talk about Drake for a lot of years, because women like Drake. And when he had the women of all ages in the chokehold, or sorry, I don't want to trigger warning anybody, but when he had the grip of the game surrounded by women in his hand, you saying you don't like Drake is not a flex. It's not a, oh, okay, oh, you're so cool. Well, who do you like if you don't like Drake? Because he got 7 songs that are number one, including with these rappers I've never heard of before. Right? So you have that part. And then so from there, he then just capitalizes off of every single moment, and to the point. And then this is where people start stealing sounds, borrowing sounds, buddying up and hopping on sounds. So now when everybody is more concerned with making the Goodyear tire versus a different type of wheel in general, all of a sudden he's just the hot hand. And now everything that he touches is going platinum and gold. You know, first time I heard Migos, it was a Drake record to me, because I heard Drake on it. The first song I ever, well, outside the Shot Caller, I don't think I liked the song with French Montana on it for the most part until Drake was on one. I don't like a lot of Rick Ross records until Drake hops on one. 2 Chainz, Drake, Nicki, Drake, Wayne, Drake. Like, pick. Whether you were new, you were old, you were a legend. Everybody. Jay-Z's on his first album. T.I.'s on his first album. He's got Swiss Beat and Mary J. Blige on his first album. Trey Songz is already on his mixtape. Like, Alicia Keys, like, he worked with everybody within 36 months. And then you wonder what the next 13 years turns into. You've never seen that before. Everybody else was isolated. G-Unit worked with G-Unit. Dipset worked with Dipset. Even Rockefeller didn't really spread their wings that far. If Nas only collabed with Wu-Tang and Mobb Deep, that and AZ, that was it. He's the first guy to really be everywhere, and you couldn't get rid of him. Let me see. Hip hop is, but you know what? Hip hop is in bad shape, but not because of relying on one person for slaps. I think it's in bad shape for being fake. And we're going to get to that piece of the story here in a second. And I'm going to get back to that. Hip hop is way more diverse than one guy. Y'all got to make room for the new hotness. But who's the new hotness, Jones? And I'm being dead serious when I say this. Who's the new hotness? Because it ain't Cole and it ain't Kendrick. It ain't neither one of them. It's not. Big Sean, I thought it would be him, and it's not anymore. It should be Wale, because he's making better singles than those guys. Now Wale is officially 10 to 15 years in on making better singles than Kendrick Lamar and J. Cole. By far. His singles are way better than their singles, and we got to start talking about that. Okay. All right, Jones, you said it wasn't that he shouldn't respond, that being Drake. We just knew when he did, he was going to whine about the whole album, plus he got an active lawsuit out here. Hey, active lawsuit, you got me. Even though it's not really against Kendrick, it's against the label. But question for you. Sorry. Question for you. Is it whining? Is Drake really whining when they do that bot bust and Kendrick Lamar does lose 100 million streams? And he lost the most streams out of everybody. So, is he whining or is he really telling the truth? Look, we all of us, self included, we really sat there and was like, well, Well, the system worked for Drake. He just mad it's working for somebody else. And part of me do believe an element of that to be true. I do. However, though, even in this conversation, I've told you about a 15-year-old, a 21-year-old, and a 45-year-old that has listened to this album this weekend. And we all think it's a dope album for whatever reason. I don't think, I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm not saying it's improbable. But I am saying, percentage-wise, I don't think the teenagers, the 20-somethings, and the 40-somethings that also listen to Kendrick Lamar are in the same number as the ones that like Drake. So what I'm saying about that is that if you figured out it's only like 33% of people, young people, men or women, 15 to 18 like Drake, I don't think 34 or more percent would like Kendrick Lamar. I don't think so. Same thing for the 20-somethings. If you told me the number was 50% of all women 20 to 25 love Drake's music, you wouldn't convince me that 51% or more like Kendrick Lamar's music. That's what I'm saying. I don't necessarily subscribe to that. However, I think that there was credence to what he was saying. It's just, it's whack. It had to happen. But look here. Kendrick's got his Grammys. Kendrick's got, his famous success. And I'm not saying that anything about him is fudged or misconstrued or whatever, but he had that brief run of literally being on top of the game. And that's what really being on top looks like. Being on top is having the biggest record by far of the year. It's about being the absolute hottest artist out to exist. Is getting the main stages, and he got two back to back. He had the Grammys and he had the Super Bowl. And here we are in 2026. And the biggest news that Kendrick Lamar has is that GNX was taken off of streaming platforms and put back on. That's what we know. And he ain't the biggest rapper in the game anymore. That's what we know. He got the year run out of it. GNX is still a dope album. I'm not here to front on the album, not here to hate on the album. But the fact that we were looking for Cole to fill the void, and that album came and went, and it's a double CD or a double disc or a double album, however you want to frame it, depending on what era you're from. The fact that we were looking for that, and that came and went, and it was February. It's now May. It's the middle of May. That came out early February. And you can love the album all you want, but where is it translating that he's the biggest rapper in the world? It's not. And that's the real argument Drake was trying to make. Hey, look, he didn't say, okay, I lost the battle. That's cool. That's whatever. But y'all can't tell me the numbers is real. See, that's the unfortunate. That's the unfortunate trick bag that he's in, right? Because you got to concede that you lost, but you can't concede that you lost by saying, oh, because the numbers is fake. See, that's the thing. If he could have just peacefully took the L and been like, man, okay, he got me, but y'all think that many people listen to that mess? That come off like a hater. Come off more like a hater than a complainer. It would have worked for him. Let me see. You really believe that? I probably do. If I said it, I probably believe that. I don't know. If Hove whined about losing the Nas for all of Disc 1 or BP2, you would respect him. You wouldn't respect him. Listen, I didn't really respect Jay-Z for making Takeover in general, if I'm being honest. Here's a story for you. And we were there. We were there in real time. Jay-Z sold 5 million albums. Jay-Z sold 5 million albums off of Volume 2. That was his third album through Def Jam, right? In the meantime, Nas is on his third album, which is I Am, right? Jay is the first person to pick up the pace of dropping albums. Now you can't wait a year or 2 years. You got to drop every year. So in my mind, by the time we got to the Dynasty album, it was clear that Jay-Z was the bigger rapper. Didn't matter to me. I thought Nas was the best rapper. And I never considered, oh, the best rapper has to be the biggest rapper. I never even thought to think like that until Jay-Z and 50 Cent. I never thought to think like that. So for me, in a matter of speaking respectfully, Jay was trying to pad stats. Jay to me, when he made Takeover at that time, obviously we're going to hear the back and forth and put pieces of the battle together and all that. But to me, that was ego. That was Jay-Z sitting in New York and realized people still just love Nas more than me, and I don't like it. People love Mobb Deep more. Why are they playing the Quiet Storm remix and not Hard Knock Life? That's how this sounded to me. It came off like sour grapes. It came off bitter. It came off bitter because I got all the money, but people don't think I'm the best. Why not? Why don't people like me more? I'm better than them. So Jay can't complain. He should have never picked the fight. And see, that's what we also don't talk about. Like, again, let's just go back through history. NWA, they were friends. So when Ice Cube and Easy and Dre and they all get into it, I get it. Okay, y'all were friends. You start off this together. Music business got in the way, breaks everything apart, right? Pocket Big were friends. He gets shot at Quad Studios. He got a beef with Puff. It's over girls. It's over a lot of things. So, and now he brings his wife into it. Totally get that. What's the real reason that Jay-Z and Nas get into the back and forth? Because he can't be on It Was Written. That's why. Like, wanted to be on every last one of my classics. That's a Nas bar. That's the realest thing I ever said. He's been trying to get a Nas feature. That's what he was trying to do. And now, Big is dead. Pac is dead. Jay-Z thinks he has a cakewalk to the number one spot, but oh no, Mobb Deep and Nas still exist. So he's mad. And he disses him. So no, he should never complain the whole second album. He shouldn't have complained the whole album because you picked the fight. Stop it. So now, who picked the fight between Drake and Kendrick? I'll still say Drake, to be honest with you, in a way, because he let the reaction put the battery in his back. The Control verse, I still don't think it was a diss. I think people just like to hear names, and we just go too far off the deep end. I still don't think that verse was so incredible. You take the names out of that. That's not in the top 5 of Kendrick Lamar verses that he's ever just rapped. Come on. Like, you know what I mean? So now with that being said, hey, listen, Drake poked the bear. Drake poked the bear and the bear bit him. Right? However, this like he poked the bear bit him, but people cared about this man. And by people, I mean the music industry. And by people, I mean women. I mean people like, you know what? My contribution is a little too big. See, this would be different. See, the Jay and Nas thing would be different if he had wrote a couple Destiny Songs records. Yeah, but get the Ninth Wonder placement connection, that don't really They don't really hold the same weight. If Jay Z, see, if Jay Z was also responsible for Beans and Freeway and the Young Guns and um Rihanna and Tierra Marie and Memphis Bleak, if everybody had at least went platinum, double platinum, triple platinum, then maybe it looks different. See, Drake helped a lot of people on the way up, but he was still virtually nobody. And that's the difference. That's the difference. Let me see. You really believe that Dot was really botting like that? His whole tour was sold out. Real people full too. Yeah, hey, listen, because look, yes, Jones, I do believe it because I'm I'm absolutely sure 100,000 people love Kendrick Lamar and would go to a show. More than that. But we're talking about the word billion with a B. Do I think a billion people stream Kendrick Lamar music? No, I don't. I don't. Sorry. I don't. um, because that puts him in a different type of air in my mind. I think the billion stream gang is, then this is me trying to just calibrate correctly here. The billion stream gang is Beyonce, Rihanna, Drake, Michael Jackson, probably the Beatles still, maybe Elvis, um, Taylor Swift. Maybe at one time Katy Perry might have been in that gang. Like there, and respectfully, Kendrick Lamar music don't span that wide. It just don't. It just don't. But that don't mean that he don't have 10 million real fans and 1% of them being 100. Well, with 10% of them being 1 million, that don't mean that 1 million people would not go out to see a Kendrick Lamar show. But again, billion with a B. We be talking about numbers like a billion ain't nothing. Like we be talking about a million like it's 100. Like it ain't. Like those are big numbers to hit, and everybody does not hit those numbers. They just don't. I don't think Jay-Z is in the billion stream gang, especially if we're counting everything past Blueprint 3. He didn't sell well the first trip every time around. So you could never convince me that he's getting a billion streams today. You couldn't convince me of that. And that's Jay-Z. Hey, look, I ain't got a billion streams, I got $1 billion. He said that for a reason. He said that for a real reason. So if Jay-Z, who is not even arguably, it's inarguable that he's made way bigger hits than Kendrick Lamar. If he ain't got a billion streams, then why you think Kendrick do? That's the only fair question I just want to throw out to you. Let me see. The brim all over the world. If you replace Hove with Drake, everything you said sounds like 24, 23 years later. Hey, and again, yeah, hey, fair. But again, I still stand on my stance that Drake helped too many people for it to go this way. And then, hey, another reason why I love this album, because, hey, look, even Tyga's still catching a two-piece. Khaled caught a couple strays. Cole, yeah, you. No, sorry, bud. You want to apologize and all of that? That's cool, but no, thank you. Yeah, keep swinging that Kendrick. That's yay, because the thing is, even if it sounds like complaining, even if it sounds like whining, no matter what it sounds like, he right. Because if Kendrick Lamar put his energy into really making a hit record that's not about Drake and don't have Drake's name in it, let's see how it does. See, it's fair. It's just fair because GNX is a dope album. However, Luther's a great record. But funny how we stopped talking numbers after that. It's just funny. It's just funny how we just stopped talking numbers. Now that Drake ain't around no more. Don't y'all find that funny? Um, so for me, this is more of a story of people just not liking Drake the person. And it's unfortunate because this is, for all things considered, this is the rap album that people were asking for. Like, I mean, if you just want him to freestyle a bunch of times and just rhyme, well, that don't pay the bills, bro. That don't pay the bills. It don't pay the bills for nobody. Like, rappers have to rap about something. I mean, look, not that you should be going to him for introspective rhymes, but Make Them Cry was very insightful of just what Drake has been going through since Not Like Us dropped. And so, yeah, hey, listen, he got a lot of first world, probably 0.5%, not even 1%. He got a lot of 0.5% first world problems. And I probably can't relate. Oh well, I'm here for the raps. I'm also, again, Drake, Kendrick, Cole, Wale, Big Sean, everybody from the 2010s and beyond. None of y'all in my top 10. None of y'all in my top 5. So I'm not overly invested. I've been taking a couple steps back, watching all of them do whatever they do to the music industry because I'm still a fan of music. I'm still a fan of hip hop, rap music, hip hop culture, rap music. So I just want to see what the new young guys are doing. But now the new young guys are now the new old guys. And now, reality is set in. In reality, there was no big three. There was never a big three. That was just that was all of you just trying to lump in your most popular or your most favorite into doing something. They were never the same artist. You know what I'm saying? That they were never in real competition with each other. Cole, Kendrick, and Drake were never in competition with each other. If you listen to their albums, it's a clear distinction. It's a clear distinction. Now, there was a time where I honestly thought Drake, Wale, and Big Sean were competing for the same audience because they were out there making the slaps. They had the Chris Brown features, the Waka Flocka features. They had Alicia Keys on different records. They were trying to get Wayne and Nicki on different ones. They were calling certain producers for certain hits. So, like, yeah, they were literally trying to do that. I never got that. I mean, hey, look, hey, Cole tried, realized it wasn't for him, so he stopped brushing his hair and started making his own beats. Kendrick realized it's not for him and dropped the album that you wanted Andre 3000 to give you. So there's I don't even understand why we were waiting for this. We should have never been waiting for this. And that's why in the aftermath, hey, listen, Drake obviously do have a lot of fake friends and real haters. And the difference between this album and the other albums is that we know their names now. You know what I mean? Like that's we know their names. We know exactly who hates Drake. We understand who picked their side and how it's not cool to just come back and it's not all good anymore. And I don't see anything wrong with that. I don't understand that. I mean, look, we let a lot of rappers lie about more for a longer period of time. We have. And this album is dope. This Iceman album is dope. I'll never personally age out of good rapping. And that's what's on this album. There's good rapping on this album. I said 20 years ago now. I don't care what you rap about. Just make it fire. Now, granted, there's some limitations to subject matter. Don't talk to me about worshiping the devil. Don't talk to me about touching kids or beating up or harming like women or black people. Like, don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, don't get off the rails. Don't get into hate speech and rhyme. But if you can make a fire song about a cheeseburger, then let me hear it. If you want to talk about selling drugs, killing people, beating your meat, maybe not beat your meat, maybe leave that for the women. If you want to rap about playing with your vagina, whatever you want to do. Is the beat fire? Is the lyrics fire? Then we got a conversation. So I'm not going to nail Drake to the cross for just simply rapping about, he's recapping his own life in music. That's what this is. And it's a couple of joints in there. Hey, listen, hey, on Dust, he was like, blow the dust off your plaques. Where was the year that you had on them slaps? Hey, that's a great question for him. That's a great question from Drake. When did you have all the slaps? Because I don't remember none of that. I don't remember none of that. I was here. Who are you talking to? Who are you talking to? I've been here. I had the slaps. When did your slaps outslap my slaps? That's a fair question. He just wants answers to fair questions. So, man, we at the hour mark. Oh, we had the hour and some change. Woo. Okay. So, hey, listen, man. I'm gonna listen to these other albums for sure, but I do want to say that, man, it's just music, dog. It's just music. And the stance that people are taking on Drake is so much stronger than the stance y'all taking against R. Kelly. It's so much stronger than the one on YNW Melly. It's so much stronger than one that you had on Rick Ross, whether it's for the CO thing or the You Don't Even Know It bar about Molly and the champagne. It's so much stronger than y'all stance on Chris Brown. And I think Chris Brown should be resolved at this point, you know what I'm saying, absolved. And you know, and so he can really get back to real business. You know, no way. You can't convince me that in the world that we live in today, with all the terrible, heinous things that we hear about artists, executives, humans every day, y'all can't tell me that the worst thing, the reason to not mess with somebody the most and stand on the business the longest and the hardest is because he sued the record label for possible tampering with like bots and numbers because he took the unfortunate side of the rap battle. So yeah, I mean, listen. Again, I'm just here to compartmentalize in the real way. Drake suing because he lost the rap battle is different from Drake suing because he thought UMG was playing games and hurting him financially. Because again, Kendrick Lamar is not being sued, the label is. And I know the distinction, it will never ring off that way. And I'm not here to argue it because I don't think you should do it regardless. I think it definitely should not be anything that's been made public, you know what I'm saying? But this is where we are, and this is what it is. But at the same time, man, you're not liking Drake as a person is probably going to stop you from hearing some good music. This might, I don't know, I ain't listened to the other two albums, but Drake might have gave us something to talk about the rest of the year music-wise. It's May, and I'm going to take a hint and a half that you don't love anything that's dropped this year. I'm going to take a hint and a half and say that. So it is back on him, and the Iceman turned. What else? You know. Thank you. I love doing this. This is the perfect ending to my birthday weekend. I had a really great birthday week. You know, a lot of people pulling up, showing love, hitting the phone. I took off. I took a flight that someone never done before. That's gonna be my new thing, just doing things I've never done before. And most importantly, man, listen, I appreciate y'all listening to this. Whenever you decide to listen to it, thank you. Every sound has a story. This is not really the real format of it, but I did want to tell the story of my weekend with this album, as well as just talk about the album a little bit itself. I'm going to do some more fine tuning here, man. I hope to see you sooner rather than later. But until next time, hey, listen to the music. Let the music fuel the sounds of your life, and may life be good. All right. Best of blessings to you wherever you are in this world. Please be safe. Know it's always love. And we'll catch you next time for the next sound and the next story. Peace.